Greetings, this is Pink Flock Yellow Boots from Behavior, working towards achieving holistic health for everybody. Perception is how we notice, understand, and see things that are presented to us. And bias means favoring or being against of something, someone, based on how we think, feel, and understand it. When we bring these two words, perception and bias, together, we get a word perception bias, which means that we hold a bias towards or against something or someone based on how we see, think, and understand it. The whole structure simply states that how we see things, how we feel about them, how we understand them is a route to how we react and respond towards them. It also states that it might not be the truth unless and until we weigh them on the scale of rationality and external information that may or may not go along with how our perception of it is. So, perception bias means you are favorable to a thing that you feel and understand is good or according to your own value system, your understanding, favorable to your ways, while perception bias against something is what does not suit you, what does not go along with your line of thoughts. What needs our understanding here is that a lot of perception bias, as we call them, happen based on assumptions that have roots in how we saw things previously, previous experiences, or the knowledge accumulated during that time. Whereas there is possibility there is more information about those things, situations, people that we are not aware of. There could be a completely different perception that we haven't yet judged upon or listened to. There are blocks in ourselves that we don't want to go beyond because they create discomfort and challenge our own thinking, judgment, and understanding. In a nutshell, perception bias is a subjective influence we have over something or someone without giving it a bird eye view. Perception bias can be seen in stereotypes on age, gender, appearance, religions, social group. These are generally based on inaccurate information or incomplete information that we have taken in and based our judgment upon. This leads us to make decisions that are not backed by fact and rationality. The brain creates filters or pathways that are based on previous information that were valid at that time but might not be valid during the current time. Most of the biases are unconscious or subtle. There are biases that we might be obviously able to see, which are very evident in their nature. Perception biases can be for or against other people or our own self. All cognitive beings are capable of having such biases, which may impact our lives in small or large quantity based on how and where and with whom they are being applied. It will influence our workplace, our personal relationships, our interpersonal relationship as well as intrapersonal relationship. It also impacts our growth as an individual. To figure out and work through the biases, it is important and necessary that we be aware of the bias present. It is important to acknowledge that there is a bias present before we can do anything about it, which will require self reflection. That is, you reflect on past events and how they turned out, the patterns that the brain follows before making a judgment over a certain situation or regarding a certain individual, being present in the current scenario, making sure that we are ready to involve current factors and facts available beyond what we already know or how we think and feel about, which may or may not coincide with what we think, feel, and understand. Being open to new information that may be to our knowledge or may not be to our knowledge, which might be beyond the knowledge we have already. The facts and information that are presented, we are okay, willing to consider it, to take it into account. Also, a major part is played by the willingness to acknowledge that we made a fault or we made a mistake, so that can be rectified, and seeing the pathway or considering things that we left out or we did not involve and include that were required to fix the damage so that they are not repeated. This is helped by self reflecting, mindfulness, self awareness about what makes us uncomfortable, what are the things that we are not ready to look upon, things, situation, ideologies that make us uncomfortable, or situation, information that are completely opposite of what we see or understand things as, people as, situations as. Also, considering with an open mindset other perceptions, that is, information we receive from others, will be helpful to negate or minimize personal biases, as it makes us open to other people's perception or the wide range of perception that are available. Seeing through the ability we have as humans to consider other people's opinion so that we know what we are missing on, will help minimize or negate personal biases that are based on our perception and make a fair, more rationality based judgment over anything that helps us decide based on factual information that is more credible. See through it, what are the perception biases that you hold in your life and how are they impacting your life? Are there things that you would like to change, and how would you make the changes? Think through as the week goes by. Have a safe week ahead. Take care.